I'm Nick Roxburgh. I'm a social system simulation modeler, and I specialize in developing agent-based models of social and environmental systems, with a particular focus on food systems. The idea I'm working on is called Food Routes. It's a dynamic route and source modeling engine for global food supply chains that brings production, logistics, and risk data into one place so businesses can explore routing and sourcing options dynamically. And it supports both immediate disruption response and longer term resilience sourcing. The goal is to give decision makers clarity in contexts where uncertainty is now the norm. As academics at Hutton, we're split across different projects. This year, for me, 98% of my time is dedicated, costed to specific research projects. Anything outside of that, any future research proposals like this, where we're looking to commercialize, I have to find that time on top of those other commitments. And when you're at 98% committed, that's either impossible or you go into your own time, which is a real obstacle. I've always had an eye to the commercial potential of some of the work we do, because I've been interested in going down the commercial route for a career for a long time. And this was one of the first projects where I could really see quite clearly the value of some of the tools we had developed for industry and for applications broader than the narrow research task we're focusing on in the moment. I hadn't engaged in this kind of activity until now because there simply hadn't been opportunities like this with the Wayfinder program. And I've been interested in commercialization for quite a while. I've looked into it, but most of the advice you get is very generic. On Wayfinder was the first program I've come across where you get to work in collaboration with those leading it on your own ideas in a structured way, and it feels like a genuine partnership. I think the one which is really clear in retrospect is the importance of distillation, and this has kind of been again and again from the feedback from yourself, Zach. Just simplifying the message, not getting caught up in weeds, not overly complicating things. The process of developing a 5-minute pitch really forces a lot of discipline. You have to strip back a lot, get to the core problem, the core value proposition, ensure you're clear and provide the clarity. And that was really illuminating. It's an idea which we think can really scale. It's very relevant, especially to this moment where we're seeing a massive explosion in the risk landscape globally. Lots of challenge, lots of complexity, and we have a solution here which helps cut through that for the customers, for the global, for those involved in global food supply chains. So it's really about getting it to a place where it can be applied in practice. And that's where you truly have impact. And the hope is it really does contribute to strengthening global food security. The most useful thing would be just having this ongoing support. There's a huge number of questions I have as I go through this process, And having experienced people whose knowledge you can tap into is immensely valuable. The most immediate part of that is engaging with potential customers, establishing if the needs we think they have are indeed the needs they do have. And then going on to try and take this to the next stage, which means unlocking more funding. And the process of doing that, again, it's valuable to have people who've been through that process and who can feed in and help shape your idea so it's as strong as it can be and has the best opportunity of reaching the next level. I've learned this kind of work really energizes me, the creativity, the pace, and the sense of building something real has been more exciting than I think I anticipated. This is maybe a controversial one, but I think there's sometimes a culture which looks negatively upon the idea of commercializing research. This sense that you come into academia, especially in the social science leaning sides of it, where I am predominantly, that you should be solely focused on public good and not on the commercial side. You get some resistance and frictions, and people that don't instinctively look for the commercial potential in part as a result of that. We do need a bit of a culture change. Academia is going to have to pay for itself more going forward. We can't just rely on government grants, and I think that's going to be a big issue. I think different areas of academia have a different relationship with commercialization. If you're working in biotech side, it's probably very much central to a lot of what you do. There's a culture of it. If you're more, say, over on the social sciences side, as I've traditionally been, people just don't have the familiarity with it. They don't think to look at ideas as potentially commercially exploitable. And I think part of the issue there is it's just not been modeled for them. So the more of us who do that, the more I think people will start to see things through a lens of being potentially commercializable. Honestly, Zach, it's been a joy. And I think you've got an exceptional talent for concision in particular, like taking a complex idea, even ones which most of these ideas must be outside of your own domain. Yet you somehow managed to reflect them back with striking clarity. And I think that ability is really invaluable. Well, we got this idea, and now I want to see it realized in the real world. Get to that MVP, start to make those links with potential customers. Hopefully, put it into practice. That's absolutely, unquestionably what excites me most here.